you wrote a book, Libido Dominandi, that traces the idea of sexual immorality as control. And before we kind of dig into that book, you in another book, you had this story about the Israeli army and the Palestinians and porn. Can you kind of just give us that story to kind of set the stage?
Yeah, that was in 2000, March of 2002. The Israelis marched into Ramallah, the army, the IDF, and the first thing they did was take over the TV stations, and the second thing they did was start broadcasting pornography. Now, this, I think, is significant because it explains what pornography is. It's not something that just happens. It's a weapon, and it's a weapon to be used against people that you want to subjugate. So if you don't accept that premise, then you're going to have to explain to me why the Israelis wanted to bring liberation to the Palestinian people, because that's the conventional American explanation of what happened here. St. Augustine said, the rich man, though a king, is a slave. The immoral man, though a king, is a slave. And the poor man, though a slave, is free, because a man has as many masters as he has vices. Mm-hmm. He clearly stated that passion, if it escapes from rational control, will become a master, and the person will become a slave. Yeah, well, there was a group called the Illuminati. It was the leader was a man by the name of Adam Weishaupt. He was a professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt. He was also, by the way, probably the model for Frankenstein, because Mary Shelley read Barrowell's memoirs, that's where they found out. That's where she found out about this. But he was. This was a university was run by the Jesuits, and the Jesuits had examination of conscience, which is a prelude to going to confession, sacramental confession. So you go through the Ten Commandments, and you find out what your faults are, and then you discuss them with your spiritual advisor, and then you go to confession. And the priest who hears your confession tells you, these are your sins. Now your sins have been absolved. Now go and sin no more. So if you want to be free, you have to confess your sins. But he turned it upside down. Revolution is always turning something upside down. And so what you do, instead of freeing the person by absolving him from sin and saying, go and sin no more, you control the person by finding out what the sins are and then promoting the vices. And then you can become the man's controller, and this becomes a way of controlling groups of people. And that's how it got started with the Illuminati. And one of the other people who read the same memoir, Barrowell's memoir about the French Revolution, was Sigmund Freud. And so Sigmund Freud proposed his form of control, which was basically a parody of the confessional. This is two sides of the same coin. Over this period from the 78, let's say, up to the present, you've got an increase of money taken out of the economy through compound interest being concentrated into fewer hands, and then these people reinvesting it in the economy as a form of control by promoting the homosexual movement, pornography, feminism, all of these forms of sexual liberation. They're all forms of control. And that's to keep everyone docile and either working hard and paying off their debts and doing nothing else.